Aloha. It's been a while. I've been carrying out some business rather quietly because, to be honest with you, if you've known my channel, if you've watched my videos over the years, you'll see I don't actually have that much volume. I don't come out and comment on the latest false flag. You know, a lot of guys out there, and I love and respect many of them, they live for this stuff. You know, they live for commentary on these subjects, and you know, guaranteed you're going to get a good amount of hits if you've got any size audience and the latest false flag or some big event occurs in geopolitics. Put that in the title, make a commentary on it, and you're going to get a lot of hits. And I appreciate very much people who do that stuff. I really, really do. And I've had my fair share of commentary on important subjects as well. But it's not actually my passion. I don't actually have a desire to grow a huge YouTube channel and make money off of view count. You know, there are people making a living at that sort of stuff. And again, I mean this in all sincerity, that's great, but you know, you can tell, to be honest, that a lot of these people, they live for that stuff. I don't live for that. So I don't put out a bunch of videos. It's kind of a rare thing. I think last year I put out a total of maybe you know, 5 or 6 videos at most, if that. And that's basically because I'm busy doing more than simply talking about things. In fact, for years and years and years, I've been kind of tired of repeating myself. I've been talking about greater Israel and the Samson option, Oded Yanan's strategy for Israel in the 1980s, the U.S. being bought and paid for by foreign dual national interests. I'm going to say a little bit more about that because I have a subject regarding my return to my birth nation of the U.S. in a few days. But, you know, it gets kind of tiring repeating yourself over and over. And commenting on new, you know, details of the latest version of a false flag. Again, you know, what's the point of this? I mean, at a certain point, aren't we supposed to arm ourselves with knowledge so that we can actually do something meaningful, some sort of action? And I initiated something called World Citizen about 1.5 years ago. And it successfully raised a lot of money. Some of you out there will be aware of the controversy regarding me and accusations of stealing money and fraud and all this sort of stuff. That's not new to me. This is my 3rd time around where I've dealt with those types of accusations. And I'm kind of enjoying it, being quiet and letting people comment on this sort of stuff, because at the end of the day, when I went through this before, both with the Human Shield action to Iraq, which was destroyed by infiltration and subversion, and then Trade Not Aid, Aloha Palestine, an international trading company that was set up in the European Union to conduct trade with the people of Palestine in Gaza. This was also destroyed by infiltration and subversion. And during both of those things, the same types of accusations happened to me. And I'm sure this is God's way of putting me through these experiences so that I would be ready for this current raft of accusations. And I believe that it's actually worked out quite well. There are people out there who are firmly convinced, based on no evidence whatsoever, only hearsay and some mouthpieces, their chosen gurus, accusing me of something. The presumption of innocence is completely turned on its head, and I'm supposed to prove my innocence. I'm guilty, and now I must prove my innocence. There are a lot of people in the so-called social justice scene that buy into this shit. I mean, these people are endorsers of Guantanamo Bay, whether they know it or not. As long as our chosen guru says sick 'em, then they're guilty. It's beyond ridiculous. But the beauty of it for me this time around is that I control the money. So the 100K that was raised, you know, when you net it after expenses and fees and all this kind of stuff, roughly around 100K. Not a small amount of money. It's a decent amount of money, and I understand people's concerns, but I've controlled that money. I know exactly where the money went. I know exactly what's left. And these people who are accusing me, they don't know shit. Because if they did, they wouldn't be making a fool out of themselves. But what I'm actually enjoying about this process is that many people are buying into this shit. And back in 2011, I made a firm commitment in writing on my blog. I said that I would use myself as bait. Literally, I use that word bait to lure out the idiots and agents, as I call them. The idiots are the ones that are just simply following whatever it is that they're being directed to follow. So in this case, it's attack Ken O'Keefe. Why? Well, because I'm involved in something that genuinely threatens the powers that be. And when the World Citizen Plan, and it's not a new world order plan, so all of you that are, you know, thinking it's open borders and all of this, you know, Jewish multicultural bullshit, not at all. So, you know, go ahead and presume that if you like. It is the antithesis of that. It is decentralization of power, big time. It is the most powerful thing that I am aware of, and it's the reason why I initiated it. Because quite frankly, I would have much preferred to join someone else's action if I genuinely believed that it had a prospect of affecting a better world. But I didn't see anything out there like that, so I initiated it. And this is over a couple of decades of a lot of work, a lot of reflection, a lot of consultation with a lot of beautiful people, a lot of experience with a lot of warriors, and confronting the powers that be directly myself. It's born out of that, and I cannot wait for it to launch, believe me. But in the meantime, let the people who want to accuse me. I rather enjoy it, and I am indeed luring out these fucking idiots and the agents, of course, who work for the powers that be. And that brings me to the next subject, which is my return to my birth nation of the United States, the United States of America. The United States has long been overrun. If you're not aware of this, you are clearly in a coma. If you're an American so-called red-blooded patriot, something the fuck is wrong with you. Your Constitution has been completely and totally defiled and destroyed. It literally is no more valuable than the toilet paper you're wiping your ass with when you go to take a shit. It is that bad. And guess what? Your country is totally run by Jewish supremacists, Talmudic, pedophile, satanic, bankster cultists. Literally. That is who owns your country. When you watch Netanyahu come to your Congress 3 times and receive 29 standing ovations so that American sons and daughters can go off and fight wars for Israel, to the tune of 22 American service members a day committing suicide, all the while waving your fucking flag, you know something's gone terribly wrong with America. The greatest fucking idiot nation in the world is about it at this point. And I don't say this because it gives me any joy. I say it because, Jesus Christ, at what point is a fire going to be lit under the asses of the American so-called patriot? Where the fuck are you? And now you put your faith, some of you, half of you put your faith in Donald Trump. Before that, half of you put your faith in Barack Obama. And before that, Bush. And before that, Clinton. And before, you know, it's the same old story. The last president you need to go back to who had any honor and integrity was indeed John F. Kennedy. And what did John F. Kennedy do? Well, he went after the Jewish supremacist, Talmudic, pedophile, satanic banksters. That's what he did. He was threatening to close down Dimona, the power plant that has produced 200 to 400 nuclear weapons for Israel, in which they're going to exercise the so-called Samson option, if indeed they feel they're threatened. And they are threatened, I can assure you of that. If John F. Kennedy was successful, he would have cut AIPAC down at its knees when it was called the American Zionist Council. And also, and most importantly of all, he threatened the Jewish supremacist, Talmudic, satanic, pedophile banksters with the Federal Reserve notes. Instead of that, he was issuing United States notes. I carry one in my wallet to make the point that if America wants to be free again, you need to get rid of those Jewish banksters who are running your country and are embarrassing you. And like Henry Kissinger says, the military are nothing but dumb animals to be used. You're being used, and now you're being used to go fight for ISIS. ISIS, Israeli Secret Intelligence Service. That's what ISIS is. Israeli Secret Intelligence Services. They never attack Israel, nor did Al-Qaeda before it. How much more obvious does it need to be? How much more obvious does it need to be? They don't attack Saudi Arabia either, but they attack Muslims all over the place. They attack Western nations all over the place. They have attacked America as well, but they never attack Israel. How much more obvious does it need to be? Israeli Secret Intelligence Service. Now, the reason why I say all this stuff again, because I've been saying it over and over and over, is because I'm coming back into my birth nation of the United States, in which I formally renounced my U.S. citizenship, but those bastards forced me to use a U.S. passport to come back into that country. I have an Irish passport, but I am forced to use a U.S. passport to enter into the United States. I do this under duress, which means it is not binding. I do not consent to the terms of citizenship, and if I am held as a prisoner in the United States, it's as an Irish national, regardless of what anybody says. So, as I return back to my birth nation to do some unfinished business, I want to make clear that I'm going to be dealing with the TSA once again. And this compels me to express my feelings about the TSA once again. In a blunt, very, very obvious and very, very righteous phrase, I want to say to the TSA, especially the top levels of the TSA, go fuck yourself. I'm coming back into your goddamn jurisdiction, and I will sit there and deal with your minions on the ground once again, but I'm going to tell your minions when I'm on the ground, as I arrive in the airport and do your little fucking dog and pony show once again, I'm going to tell them to write down at the very top levels of the TSA, I want you to communicate this to your higher-ups. Go fuck yourself. You dual national fucking traitors. You have no loyalty to the United States. How dare it be called Homeland Security, Homeland Insecurity at the behest of Israel, so that American so-called patriots can go and fight for Israel, so that America can be imploded as it's being right now with all of this idiotic bullshit going on in the country. This country of America used to be the greatest in the world. You thought it is going down in a ball of flames, and the next empire is meant to be Israel. And everything we see happening in Israel and the Middle East is a part of a plan to expand Israel, greater Israel. If you don't know what it is, look it up. I'm kind of tired of repeating this. But right now, it couldn't be any more obvious. If you're in the U.S. military, you literally are going to be called on and are being called on to fight for ISIS. You are. How is that upholding your oath? Your oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States. How is that consistent? What the hell happened that you would go and fight for ISIS as you fought for Al-Qaeda before it? These son of a bitches are using you. And at some point you're going to need to do one very obvious thing, and that is disobey the orders. I can't wait for that. And to the U.S. military, what I'm really looking forward to in you, since some of you have some honor and integrity, is arresting these traitors. They're the ones that put their hand up under oath as well to uphold the U.S. Constitution. The NDAA, successively, over and over, the Patriot Act 1 and 2, and countless other pieces of legislation are the complete opposite. They are at the antithesis of the meaning of the U.S. Constitution. They are unlawful, they are illegal, and they need to be rescinded. And a government needs to be put in place in the United States that respects the United States Constitution until such time the United States is being run by traitors who have committed provable treason. And the U.S. military is being used as dupes to maintain that power structure. It is an embarrassment. So let me say one more time to the TSA as I come into your jurisdiction, go fuck yourself. I have one last thing to say as well regarding the accusations about me, which I've already talked about. Fraud, theft, blackmail, blah, 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 blah. That's one thing. I'm used to that shit. But it's also happened many times over that those close to me have been attacked as well. In fact, my mother was attacked before she passed on. She was worse criminal than I was, apparently, if you believe what was said. My ex-wife was attacked. Even my kids were targeted in some areas as well. The accusations that I've been involved in every kind of criminal activity you can imagine have always occurred. But this time around as well, my girlfriend has been attacked, and she's been accused of all sorts of things, including being a Satan worshiper, a cultist, and basically a honey trap, and luring me into all sorts of insanely immoral, bad behavior, and ultimately taking me down this devilish path of abandoning my responsibilities and so on and so forth. To all the people who have bought into this and want to lay blame to a beautiful young woman who, quite frankly, has more integrity and balls than most of you men out there, and if you doubt what I'm saying, you only need really look at what she says in her music and actually see the comments that she's made and the things that she posts, especially about World War II history and the truth about who's running this world. She has more balls and integrity than the vast majority of you out there. So how dare you, those of you who have targeted this beautiful young woman, and let's be honest anyway, she is gorgeous, she has beautiful art, she's a fantastic musician. If you were a single man and this woman was attracted to you, you wouldn't even think for a second before you would be with her, or maybe you're homosexual, I don't know. But I am not a homosexual, and I make no apologies for my relationship with her. I love her, and regardless of whatever faults either one of us have in our personal lives, those of you who are interfering and accusing us of all sorts of shit, especially her, go fuck yourself. Big time. Well, that feels good to say. If indeed I am taken into custody and detained, as it were, if I am detained, I'm telling you all right now, I will not be committing suicide. Absolutely not. That's never going to happen. So let's be clear about that. I also will not be eating, however. I will not eat their poisoned food in custody in the United States. Bank on that. And I will continue to be on a hunger strike if indeed I am held. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know, but I never underestimate the stupidity of the powers that be. And of course I am antagonizing the bull now, aren't I? Because I know, as well as every genuine American who gave even an ounce of fucking integrity in their lives, knows damn well America is hijacked. The enemy is well inside the gate. It is an imperative, if you are to maintain any kind of dignity, that you speak out and speak out now. And that is what I am doing and shall continue to do, and I will do from custody, because there will be other videos produced if indeed they choose to hold me against my will. So, thank you to everyone who actually gives a shit, and to those who've sent me overwhelming support and whatnot as I've remained a little bit quiet. I hope that you will forgive me for that quiet. There are plenty of people, as I've said, who are commenting on issues, so I'm really not nearly as important in this regard as maybe I might have been 5 or 10 years ago. I give nothing but love and respect to a ton of people out there who are making some very important commentary and dealing with those who are directly in power. And make no mistake about it, those who control the money supply, which I've named now several times, one more time, the Jewish supremacist, Talmudic, satanic, pedophile bankster cult is running the world through the control of the money. They control all the central banks. If we want a better world, we will have it the moment that we take back control of the issuance of money and we write off all of our debt. Isn't that a good idea? Why don't we just write off all that debt? Who do we owe the money to? The Jewish supremacist, Talmudic, satanic, pedophile bankster cult is who we're in debt to. And our governments work for them. And that is why they're telling you we're in debt. I don't know how much more pathetically obvious it needs to be, but that's it in a nutshell. So if I come back and have to pay some sort of price for speaking this sort of truth, well, God bless me for having the opportunity and the will to say it, and everyone else who is speaking the truth. Really, in all honesty, love and respect to you big time.